Jaron Ennis versus Amantes Stanionis. I got to ask you because I think a hardcore fight fan, somebody who understands what these two fighters bring, would say this is potentially a 50-50 fight. But obviously, Jaron's your guy. How do you see this fight playing out? Do you view it as 50-50 or do you favor Jaron big?
I think that, if you're looking at the Chudazian fight, then it's giving people hope. And, although Tom Brown said, well, we've been chasing this fight, we never received a phone call before for Stanionis to fight Boots. We did receive that phone call after the Chudazian fight, and I think it gave people a lot of confidence. If Boots performs like he did against Chudazian, it's a very, very dangerous fight. If he performs to the ability that we believe and know he has, he looks absolutely sensational and announces himself as a pound-for-pound star of the sport. But I love what Stanionis brings. What he said there, all gas, no brakes. This guy is relentless, tough, great engine. He's a fantastic fighter. And you're right what you said about hardcore fight fans. Everybody who knows boxing knows that this is not just maybe a 50-50. This is probably the best fight of the year so far. And I think you'll get a tremendous matchup.
Eddie, I got to ask you because I was there yesterday in New York City.
I heard your question.
Thank you.
You actually answered the question in your question, which I thought was very good.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. What did you think about the fact that those two ladies went back and forth and just that whole thing is not normal for them?
Yeah, good. I mean, look, I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. No one talks about the fact that we had to give up Amanda Serrano walking second in certain situations of the press conference and the fight and the weigh-in when Katie Taylor is the champion. She's the undisputed champion. We had to come down to 136 pounds for this fight, which is not a problem, by the way. But we still were very cordial in the negotiations, especially when it's 2-0, especially when Katie Taylor is the champion. But more importantly, like you said in your question, the WBC do not allow 3-minute rounds. And if you fight a 3-minute round contest, you will be stripped of your title, right? We ain't getting stripped. We're undisputed. That's the dream of Katie Taylor. So it's not even really, she'd fight 3-minute rounds, she'd fight 5-minute rounds. But the reality is, the rules are, it's 2 minutes. She also made a very valid point. Amanda Serrano has boxed a few 3-minute round fights. They weren't very exciting to watch. I'm telling you, the 2-minute format is exciting. It's all action. 3-minute rounds will actually slow the pace down for women's boxing. And I'm not saying we don't need to keep evolving. I'm not saying at some point we don't have to look at that. But on a platform like that, you've had 2 fights that have been incredible. You don't need to change it. This fight will be incredible. It will be another fight of the year. But make one thing clear. It's 2-0 to Katie Taylor. And it will be 3-0 in July. And when Amanda says, millions of people, everyone saw that I won that fight. No, they didn't. Everyone saw 2 brilliant competitive fights that were like this. They're 6-4 fights, either way. And on both occasions, I thought the judges got it spot on. We're entitled to our opinion, they're entitled to their opinion. But look, they're 2 legends of the sport. It's a tremendous, tremendous fight. And hopefully it can sell out and give it the night that it deserves.
Gotcha. Eddie, how does it feel? You mentioned the 10,000 here on Saturday night. You did what you did in Philly. How does it feel to have options for a fighter, not just one local place, whether it's a Philly, you have options out in Atlantic City, Philadelphia. Not many fighters can do that.
And I'll tell you what, it's not just Philly and Atlantic City. I think this works for Jaron in New York, in Atlanta, and you look at the success that Gervonta Davis has had. I mean, look, we don't always get on, but Gervonta Davis is a huge ticket seller. And he's proven that in Vegas, in the Barclays Center, in Atlanta, and Boots can do the same as well. And, for me, it was a little bit of a risk when we decided not to do this fight in Philly. I feel that sometimes, I love homecomings, right? But sometimes as a fighter, it's a huge amount of pressure to keep fighting at home. And although this is an hour away or an hour and a half away, I just felt that we needed something a little bit different. I've wanted to do a fight at the Bulwark Hall. Tom reminded me, I was here when Froch fought Andre Ward. I was here when Darren Barker fought Martinez, when Gavin Rees fought Adrian Broner. And every time I looked around the place, it's steeped in history. And this fight deserves a venue like this. And I think it's a major moment for the sport to bring a packed house back to Atlantic City. And hopefully, we can bring big fights here in the future.
I was going to ask, do you think this is the fight that can resurrect Atlantic City back to the glory days?
Honestly, I think that some people forget this place even exists as a fight venue. right? I mean, you've got, I know during the week sometimes it can be a little bit quiet, but this place lights up at the weekend. Look at the facilities you've got. It's kind of like a Vegas experience. You've got theatres like this. You can do the weigh-in here tomorrow. You've got the Boardwalk Hall. You've got other arenas as well that are a little bit smaller if you need them. And we know, look, fight fans in New Jersey and around the areas are very knowledgeable people. They know great fights, and that's why they're coming on Saturday, because it's a great fight.
Eddie, what do you make of